Hi guys, it's time for a AP Art History Flip Classroom. I'm Mr. Bruns, and today we are going to be talking about luxury arts of the 12th to the 14th century, primarily in the Islamic world. We want to thank Ms. Stokestad and Mr. Cawthron for their information from the Art History 5th edition. Our goals for today is that you should be able to recognize 12th to 14th century luxury wares from the Islamic cultures. You should also have an understanding of the context, the stories that are seen within the art, and you should also want to be able to discuss who's buying these works of art. Why are they being exchanged? Alright, let's begin. First thing that we need to know is that Islamic society was cosmopolitan, and it's cosmopolitan because of the huge pilgrimage routes that are going on. We have Muslims going to Mecca to pray to the Kaaba. We also have Christians and Jews on these trade routes going into the Holy Land. We also see trade goods going on. We see the trade routes, the Silk Road trade, the Mediterranean trade, the Indian Ocean trade. And these are all done by these road networks. And this fosters the circulation of goods, and goods that people want in Western Europe as well as in the Middle East. Well, luxury arts brought particular pleasure, and it also brought status to those that were buying them. And the people that can buy these things are aristocrats. They're wealthy owners. And we see that also is if I own this work of art, I'm also showing that I'm a very culturally refined person. So it's a visible sign of cultural refinement. These art objects over time were eagerly exchanged and collected from one end of the Islamic world to the other, and despite the Arabic lettering, later on they became sought after by European patrons as well. So let's take a look at our first piece. We're going to talk about ceramics, and we're going to look at this beautiful bowl. This is known as a minya. Oh, I have a spelling error down here. That should be an I. Bowl of Bahramgur and Azada. This is done in Iran. This was created right around the 12th to the 13th century. Islamic civilization produced exceptionally sophisticated and beautiful luxury wares. This 12th century Persian created bowl. First thing we need to know is that Persian potters developed a technique of a multicolored ceramic overglazed painting known as minya ware, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but I'm doing the best I can. And that Persian word means enamel. So this word here in our title means enamel. Okay, and the minya bowls and plates and beakers often referenced or portrayed stories and subjects popular with the potential purchaser of these goods. Here we have a circular scene at the bottom of the bowl. This is sort of our focal point right here, and we have it is a tale of Bahramgur. He is legendary in the Islamic world for his prowess in love and his skilled hunting ability. The episode here is a continuous narrative. It combines a couple of episodes. Here we have Gur riding. Here he is right here. This is Gur right here. And he's sitting atop a camel next to his favorite, and this is Azada. Things aren't going to look so good for her after a while. And Azada foolishly belittles Gur's hunting skills, and to prove his peerless marksmanship, the king pins his arrow, the hoof and ear of a gazelle who had lifted its hind leg to scratch an itch. So we kind of see right here, here's the bow, he shoots it, here is the gazelle that's itching itself, and he's killed it. Well, as Azada finds, she pities the animal, and in that sense she is belittling Gur's hunting ability. And as the story goes, if you look right down below here, because the story is kind of flowing this way, you'll notice that Gur pushes Azada off the camel and tramples her to death. and this is for mocking him. Okay? And it's telling us a story here. Maybe it's because Islam is a very patriarchal society, very male dominated, and that women should be respectful of who's in charge. Let's take a look at another luxury ware. This is a metal work. Islamic metalsmiths enlivened the surface of vessels with scrolls, interlacing designs, human and animal figures, and they also put calligraphy inscription. Well, when this work was done, there was a huge shortage of silver, and so that kind of pushed the development of what is called inlaid brass work. And this basin, as we're looking at here, is from Mamluk, Egypt. It's done in the 13th or early 14th century, and it was created by Muhammad ibn al-Zayn. So using the prophet's name, Muhammad ibn al-Zayn. And we know this because he has signed this basin in 6 different places on the work. What do we see here? This is one of the finest works of metal produced by Muslim artists. It's a dynamic surface. It's got a lot of energy. We have a crowded, overlapping figures. They are in various poses, so it's not like the standard of that we would have seen in Sumerian culture, where everybody's kind of going in one direction. This would be a little bit more like the Pisces, where everybody's kind of turning their heads and looking in different ways. Nevertheless, there's very distinct hatching and modeling and framing within this work. The exterior face is divided into 3 bands. As we look right here, our first band and our third band we have animals running in opposing directions. We have here, these animals are running from our right to our left, whereas we have our animals down here in this bottom band running from the left and going to the right. And then we have the central band, our second band here, is where our figures are located, right here. We see in the center shows a scene of a horseman. He is flanked by his attendant, so he's the most important person in this work. I wouldn't use hierarchical scale because he isn't any bigger. It's just that we have the circle around him, and this geometry right here maybe allows for our eyes to go directly to him. We also see that if we blow this up, let's go right here, we can also see some falconry right in this region right here, which was pretty important at the time. And again, we see the use of the bow and arrow too. Scenes of the princely arts of horsemanship and hunting were important at this time, and in later metalworks these pictorial cycles would be later replaced by elegant large scales inscriptions. So here are just a couple examples of luxury wares. So our review question today is, can you name at least 3 characteristics of 12th and 13th century Islamic luxury wares? Thanks for listening, and have a great day.